Hello and welcome to our first Digital Cafe online. This morning we are going to be covering social media and certainly video and how that plays. So we're going to get Tony Richardson to come along in a few minutes to look at how we use video for social media, what type of equipment, loads of stuff. About an hour long, worth tuning in. So who am I? I'm Andrew Mills. I run Digital Cafe. And we've been doing Digital Cafe for about 5 years. We've had about 80 odd meetups, but this is our first online one, and this is our first full uploaded YouTube video of the content. So welcome to Digital Cafe, where knowledge meets business. So yeah, it's normally fun packed, a bit silly at times, but hopefully useful, down to earth, practical advice that you can take away. If you want to know more about us, again, you can actually Google Digital Cafe Network. Again, as you can see, we normally meet at the old library down in Attercliffe. We've got another event coming up later on, which is about home working and is it working for you and so on. But today we're looking at the tips of creating social media content and the best ways to look on those Zoom calls. So without further ado, we're going to fly over and join Tony for our Digital Cafe event today. So take care and see you on the other side.
Morning, everybody. So yeah, I'll just thank you for being here. I thought I'll just click through a couple of, well, I've got loads of slides, but as you can imagine. But, so a little bit about me and why you're actually listening to me. So my name's Tony. I'm creative director at Fluid. I've been in the industry or thereabouts for about 24 years, 18 years running Fluid. In that time, you can imagine I've been involved in a huge range of different projects for different companies, different styles of thing. We work quite a lot with marketing agencies and social media agencies where we're plugging in to do kind of the video element to a campaign. So if you can imagine somebody coming to a rebrand, they might have a website done, they might have pay for a social media campaign or a pay-per-click or something like that. And we'll plug in and kind of do the video element for it. I'm not a social media expert. Okay, so I don't have experience in doing PPC campaigns, Twitter campaigns, Facebook, or anything like that. That's not where we're at. What we do is we do the video element. We create the content which fits, which will plug into that. So I'm just going to show you the kind of thing we do for our corporate clients. So that's the kind of stuff that we do, and it's really wide ranging. It's really broad, but that kind of means that we have the kind of experience to help our clients, deliver what they want to deliver. So hopefully, I'm going to be able to give you a few tips today that will enable you guys to do some nice social media stuff that gives a bit more content for your channels. We're going to start off. I've done this presentation before, and it's all about social media creation. This particular section is going to be a little bit around getting the best out of doing Zoom and stuff like that, and a few tips for that, because everyone is spending their life online at the moment, and that means everyone needs to look their best. And you'll probably I've left the way that I'm presented at the moment deliberately a little bit rough, and I don't mean my face. I can't help that, but in terms of the screen, if you have a look at the picture in detail, it's quite grainy. There's kind of like some light smears on it, and actually you can do an awful lot to just elevate that professionalism in your presentation on Zoom. So things to consider. So better video quality for online. First thing, dress for the occasion. You know, if you're doing a professional meeting, wear a suit, at least on the top half. It doesn't matter if you're in shorts, which I normally am, but think about how you're going to come across, however you would appear, however you want to appear. If you had a face-to-face meeting, you should be doing if you were actually doing it online. So that is really important, you know. And if you want to put some makeup on, absolutely great. You know, these kind of webcams and lights and stuff like that really do bleach your face out. So just having some foundation on, blokes as well, you know, I'm not just talking to the women, it does kind of just elevate that, make you look a bit more colourful. So do kind of consider that. Bring your camera up to eye level. Well, let me just unshare, hang on, let me just find, I want to get back, stand by. I'm trying to find my mouse, there we go. So I'm just going to start that. I don't know whether you can see, let me go to gallery view, and I'm just going to spotlight this video. It's deliberately a bit dark. Hello, so I'm here. So I'm just going to take my little flight case, okay, and I'm just going to put the flight case on top of, put my laptop on top of my flight case. And what that will have done, with a bit of luck, let me just switch that back. So what that will have done is that's elevated your camera to at least your eye line, and it means that you're not looking under your chin. It means you're not looking up. So that straight away makes things feel a little bit more comfortable. Let me get back to my presentation. So I'll click through that. Right, so you've brought your camera to eye level. Is there someone say something? No? Okay. Really, you want your camera at about arm's length. Okay. The cameras are wide angle, which means if you're close, it makes everyone feel a bit uncomfortable. So really, you want to kind of keep about arm's length away from wherever your camera is. You might want to consider a webcam upgrade. Now, this is a very expensive MacBook Pro, and it comes with an absolutely terrible camera. You know, one of the best producers of cameras in the world, and they can't put it on their laptop. So what you might want to do is upgrade to an external webcam, which hopefully you will see as straight away massively improve the quality of the picture. It's less grainy, the colors are a bit better, it's not all streaky and horrible. So spending, I don't know, 100 quid on a webcam will massively improve the look of your picture. Lighting. Now this is very important. At the moment, I'm lit by the downlighters in the room. I've got a screen over here which is casting this kind of blue hue on me. It's a bit dark. So what you might want to do, let me just switch back to this camera. If you add, I've got this above my desk, this little ring light. Okay, so there's a little ring light there. And what that's done is that's added a little bit of front lighting to my face. And if I switch back to this camera, spotlight the video, that has suddenly added, that's suddenly kind of added color, light from kind of all around. It's made me a bit brighter. With this particular one, and this ring light was only 15 quid, I think, something like that. You can make it as bright as you like. Change the color temperature. I'm going to go to both, and you can adjust the brightness. And where's the brightness? There's brightness, not the brightness control. Oh, there we go. So you can dim it down so it matches your kind of ambient light level. And for 20 quid, 15, 20 quid, I think as an absolute bargain. It just completely lights your face properly. It makes you look less, downlit, so you haven't got the shadows under your eyes and under your chin, which you get quite a lot of. So at the moment, so I've now got eye level camera. I've got a new camera. I've added some light in. What I've also got is I've got some studio lights. Now I'm not expecting to have studio lights, but if you just let me just put this one on for you. Okay, so I've just put this little light on. Okay, and it's called the rim light or a backlight. Okay, and what it's done is it's cast a little bit of light onto my shoulder, onto the back of my head. It's potentially a little bit bright, to be honest, but it separates you from your background, and suddenly it makes you stand out a little bit more from what's going on in the back. So you might want to consider a kind of a backlight. Let me just click this. So this is how you should set up a professional lighting setup. Ideally, you'd have the camera in the front. You've got your fill light and your key light. I'm not going to go into the details of those, which I'm going to turn some of those on in a minute. But you see you've got a backlight, which is at number 3. Okay, so it's just coming off one shoulder, just casting a bit of light on the back of your head, bit of your shoulder, and it kind of separates you from the background. So I do have a fill light and a key light. Just give me a second. I'm going to put those on. Okay, there's one. And switch. It's 2. Okay, so we've now got a key light, a fill light, and a backlight. And hopefully you can see I'm looking a little bit shinier than I did before. I mean, quite literally a little bit shinier than I did before. But the quality of the picture is now significantly better. Okay, so but you don't need professional equipment for this. You could do one of those soft lights, one of the kind of paper lights that you get from IKEA for 3 quid or something. You could hang that above your camera, and actually that will give you a really nice kind of soft light on you. And then what you could do is then just get an angle poise, something that a reading lamp, something like that, and just put it out of shot over your shoulder and just add a little bit of light to the back of your arm. Okay, so that's kind of one thing to look at. You might want to have a look at your background. Now, some people say that the background should be quite plain, just because if you have lots of stuff going on in the background, people kind of look at it, maybe it's a bit distracting. I'm in two minds about this. I quite like the fact that when people look at here, there's a camera up there, there's some CDs, there's some equipment stuff over there. There's kind of something going on. And if we were doing a professional production, we would do someone's interview in front of a background that's representative of what they do. So it would be, if there were a manufacturing company, we wouldn't do them against a white backdrop. We would do them with interesting things in the background to kind of show when people look at a picture, they know straight away what you do. So I'm in that, you can do that kind of thing. What you could also do, let me just spotlight this. Spotlight video. You could get one of these kind of pop-up green screens. I know Laura was talking about that earlier. You just unzip it, take it out, and a bit like a pop-up tent. You've got yourself a pop-up green screen. Okay, and if I just switch back to here, you could then put that behind you and do the kind of zoom green screen thing. So you could do that, or if you didn't want to do that, you could get yourself a little roller of paper. You do it in your corporate colour, where you have your banner, and you can do that. And then before you know it, you've got yourself a branded background, which, a bit of colour makes it a bit funky. People recognise you. If you've got a pop-up banner stand, it could have your company logo on. It could have anything you want on. So there are loads of options, but have a think about your backdrop and what you want your backdrop to say. So let me just roll that back up again. Okay, so I'm going to go with this background because I think it says what I want it to say. Sound, quite often, if your laptop will have a really tiny little microphone in it, and there's no guarantee actually that the quality is any good, or worse, you've got a headset with one of those mics here, then all you hear is rustly, blowy noises. Actually, if you were to invest in a little external microphone, again, let me just switch back to this. So I've got here a desk stand microphone, which I can then switch on, depending on how good your quality of your speakers are, depends on whether you'll be able to tell or not. But if I just switch my microphone over to that, hopefully you'll still be able to hear me. 1 2 1 2 1 2. And the quality of that microphone is significantly better than the quality of the microphone in my laptop. Not least, it costs a bit more. So if you are doing this a lot and doing this regularly, you might want to consider just having a little microphone just sat next to your laptop, and then that can kind of pick up your voice and make you sound absolutely fantastic and beautiful. Switching back to here. So I've got a camera upgrade, I've got a microphone upgrade, I've got some lights. I look a bit better, arguably. Sometimes you can, these cameras tend to try and do all the work for you. They'll try and sort the level out, the focus, all those kind of things, and that's great if you're just want to kind of get on with it. But sometimes actually you want to control it. You want to set what the light level is. You want to set where the focus is, and it might be that you can download an app, or your webcam comes with an app that allows you to set all those levels. It might be worth considering that if you've got any, if you're having real problems with your sound or your lights. Oh, I've gone quiet, have I? Right, okay, stand by. Is that better? Can you hear me now? Excellent. Yeah. So anyway, I'll show you what we had before. I will have to click on the right computer. So that's where we were at before, and that's where we're at now. And I think you'll agree that by upgrading a few of those things, you've taken your really rubbishy built-in webcam and built-in lighting and all those kind of things and properly turned it into a nice little suite, okay? And it might be that if you're doing a lot of this, maybe you set up a desk and a little setup in the corner of a room or something like that, and that is your Zoom station, and it just means that you can kind of go to it and it's all pre-wired and you know it works, and you just kind of go to it and switch on and then away you go. But I think for the investment of maybe £200 for all this kind of gear, for the microphone and the camera, that would probably take it from amateur level to a professional level kind of broadcast. I hope you would agree with that. So that was kind of it on the kind of webcammy stuff. Does anyone have any questions on that wants to shoot at me at this point? I'll take.
Yeah, Tony, we've got a question that has been posed. It said, would you advise not to sit in front of the window?
Yeah, so you can. So it depends which side the window's on. If the window is in front of you, absolutely sit in front of the window, because you get a nice bathing. Close the. If you've got one of those kind of voile things that kind of diffuses the light a little bit. If you've got light from the front, absolutely, that would be great. If the light's from behind you, there's no way any of these lights or anything like that can beat the sun, because the sun's obviously really powerful. And like I said before, in terms of the cameras trying to do half the work for you, if you put a big bright light behind you, the camera will go, I need to be darker, and it will automatically close its iris. It will make it darker. And what will happen is you'll end up being a silhouette against a really bright background. So if you're in a situation where you've got a big window and that's the only room you can work in, work with it. Flip the desk round, have the light from the window falling on your face, and that will significantly improve things. Anything else? Excellent. I will take. Was there anything else, Andrew?
Not in the chat side of things, Tony. No.
No. Anyone? No. Okay. We'll go with no news is good news. Right. So I'll now move.
All good to me.
Oh, yes. Go on. Yeah.
All good.
Good. Cool.
Apart from the green screen, I didn't really know about the rest of it apart from the eye level thing. So yeah, some really good useful tips there.
Awesome. Okay. And the other thing, and one other thing is, when you're presenting, really you ought to be trying to look down your camera lens, and it's very difficult because you've got all this stuff going on your screen below, but actually you're talking to the people at the other end of the camera. So as much as you can talk down the camera lens, the more kind of rapport you will build up with the people who are watching you. So to try that, it's very difficult, and you kind of have to be practiced at it and ignore all this kind of rubbish below, because you want to look at yourself and you go, do I look right? Is the camera right? But yeah, looking down the camera, that makes a huge difference as well. Right, so that's the stuff on there on that. I'm now going to move on to the kind of social media bits. Okay, so why would you do video and social media? Well, 38% of all online activity in terms of time at the moment is watching videos. Okay, and you know it from scrolling down Facebook. You know, you'll watch endless videos and get lost in a kind of video, YouTube chain of clips. Coming up next, 500 hours of YouTube are uploaded to YouTube every single minute. 500 hours. Okay. 500 million people watch video on Facebook on a daily basis. Okay, and on LinkedIn, if you upload a video, you've got an uplift of about 1200% in terms of shares. So video content is absolutely key at the moment for driving traffic, for people to see you. Now, obviously, with 500 hours of footage being uploaded every second, whatever I said, trying to have yours seen is incredibly difficult. And that's where social media campaigns come in, and, pay-per-click and all those kind of things. That's where they kind of come in. But people are watching video. You know it. You know, when you scroll through Facebook and through LinkedIn, you will stop and look if there is content there that you want to watch. Okay. But what do you shoot? What is it you're going to do? Well, you can do an infomercial. So, did you know this is what we do, or this is this product, or this is this service? You could do some kind of explainer video. So how something works, explain how your product or service work, or how a technique of doing something. It could be a sales video. So, why would you buy from us? Why would you want to buy our product or our service? It could be a coaching film. So, this will help you by doing this. If I give you this guidance and this advice, it will improve your life. It will improve how you work and those kind of things. It could be a vlog. So, this is what I'm up to. This is where I'm, this is me today, and all those kind of things. It could be a biog. So this is who I am. So it might be pre-recorded rather than a live thing where you kind of tell your story and people want to actually look at it. Or it could be a testimonial. These are really popular at the moment, and we do a huge amount professionally of testimonial stuff, and it's all around showing someone's customer tell the viewer why the person that's paid for the testimonial is good. And they're really powerful, because actually it's not just the company saying we're really good, buy from us. It's a third party saying that this company did really great work for them. Okay, and they're incredibly powerful. So testimonials are absolutely fantastic. I'm just going to show you a little video clip. Okay, and just watch these.
Go back through some of my old haunts for the weekend, so I thought I'd take you along with me, because why not? This is about as exciting as my life gets when I'm not in Disney, so let's go. Beth is very excited to be in the vlog, aren't you, Beth? Yes, so excited. This is my long-suffering housemate, Beth. Hello! She's lived with me. This is her 4th year of living in the same building as me. on the same floor as me, nearly opposite you, nearly opposite. How does she do it, I hear you ask? No one knows.
So I recently picked up the Sony Huron 2s. Ooh, this looks nice, this gray though. All right, so here we have them. Looking kind of good. So it has a touch panel on the side, so it has touch controls. You also have active noise canceling, and you can probably use the app that goes along with it. All of Sony's headphones nowadays can work with their headphone app. Now these are kind of expensive, so I'm gonna be looking at these and seeing if they're worth the money. So far, this looks really nice though.
So here's a rental tip for you. When you're screwing near the end of a piece of spruce like this, it's really thin. Start your bit, put the drill on reverse, and push. And see, you see smoke. Did you see that, Max? Oh, yeah. When you see smoke, you've cauterized that wound. If you just drive a screw into a piece of strapping like this, it'll split on you. Now we're done, we're ready to install our drywall. Only thing left to do now is carry it down here from the truck. So let's go get our 10-foot sheets.
It is such a nice day though. It's like perfect weather, and days like this kind of make me feel like it wouldn't be that bad if I had just stayed in Texas for the rest of my life.
Now in the kit, you have a 3-zone control panel, 2 PIRs, 2 door or window contacts, a dummy siren, and a siren. And these 2 tags. I'll explain about these in a bit. All with fixings and batteries. As you can see, a sizable kit. Let's start with the control panel. It comes pre-programmed with 3 separate zones. You can control how the zones operate. There's an option to arm parts of your home whilst disarming others.
One of Canon's best lenses is also one of their most boring lenses. It's the 24-105, which is good for general purpose shooting for subjects characterized by generalness. It's kind of like a Swiss Army knife of lenses. But now that boring lens has been updated with Mark II. Naturally, I thought I'd put it on the general purpose body. It's the 1DX Mark II. Okay, let's go. Got to delete those images now. Damn it, should have taken the card out.
Go back through some of my old haunts for the weekend.
Right.
So I thought I'd take you along with me because...
Right, let me stop that playing. So the reason for showing those clips are that there was some informational stuff there. There was a vlog. There was a review, a few box openings, those kind of things. People are watching this stuff all the time. Okay, so no matter what it is you want to shoot, there will be a market for somebody to watch it. Okay, as long as it's interesting and it says what you want it to say. I mean, you know, there's a girl walking through a wood saying how beautiful it is. Unless, you know, obviously, unless you are one of her followers or she is an influencer, why would anybody watch that video? But they are, because it'll appear on YouTube. It'll appear as a next video up kind of thing, and people are watching it. Okay, so whatever you think you want to shoot, somebody will watch it. But obviously, you need to consider what it says about you and your business. But think about what kind of video you could do. So, have you got a product that you could do? That you could show how it works. Have you got an interesting story? Do you get a lot of places and meet a lot of people that you could do a vlog about? Have a think about the kind of content in terms of what you do on your day-to-day basis that will help you kind of create that content. How long should it be? Well, there's a few different people say different things about different stuff, but HubSpot, who are quite a popular thing, kind of saying if you're going to go on Instagram, it needs to be about 30 seconds. If you want to put it on Twitter, well, it wants to be about 45 seconds, and that'll get the most kind of views. Facebook, it's about a minute, and if it's going to go on YouTube, it wants to be about 2 minutes. Okay, you can have a look online. There's loads of people who are telling you how long they think a video should be. What I would say is, well, so 56% of all published videos last year were, less than 2 minutes. Google, however, does detect how long people are on websites for. So if you embed a longer video on your website and you can get people to watch it through your website, okay, it will show that it will increase your page rankings because people are spending longer on your website as they are watching the videos, if that makes sense. So, if you can, rather than just directing everyone to YouTube, if you can direct people to a landing page that has a video embedded in it, it will drive traffic through to your website. I think content can be much longer than 2 minutes if the content is interesting enough. If you have something to say and people are interested in what you are saying, they will watch more than 2 minutes. The kind of limits on 45 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, they are for people who are just generally scrolling through. Okay, they're people going through, and generally, if someone's on Twitter, they want everything in a bunch of small characters and a quick video, and then they're off. Okay, but if you are driving people to your website, I think you can probably go for a bit of a longer video if the content is interesting. If you think about something like a live stream, that might be an hour. It might be 2 hours, depending on what it is. We did a live stream for Rab Clothing. We did their sales event. And it was a multi-camera thing. It looked like a proper production, but we was down the Zoom. And actually people were on there all day because they dipped in and out of the sessions that they wanted to watch. So I think content can be as long as you want it to be, but just be conscious if you are putting it on social media, things like Twitter and Facebook. If you want to get just ad hoc traffic, people just popping through, you want to kind of keep the length down. It might be you do a shorter video to go on your social media channel and direct them to come and see the full program on your website. That could be you drive the traffic through to your website from that way. And there was a question there, Andrew. What was the question? I just saw it pop up.
Unmic myself. Yeah, just saying. I just made a comment about half an hour more in the open questions. There wasn't a question directly.
Oh, all right. Okay, fine. Okay, right. I'll get you going then. Things you need to consider when creating your content. So you've thought about what you want to do. You're going to do a how-to video. You've decided you're going to make it 2 minutes long, and it's going to sit on YouTube, which you're going to embed on your web page. Okay, great. So things you need to consider when putting that thing together. Create a storyboard. Now, that doesn't have to be, you'll see it in the movies where they create these massive storyboards and stuff like that. This could just be a list of text with, a series of scenes in, so you can kind of talk your way through it. If you're creative and you've got a kind of, you like sketching stuff out, you could sketch out what each kind of scene's going to look like and what you want it to look like in the end. Again, there's another kind of sketchy one there. Or it could just be like an Excel document that's got, who says what, where it is, what you want to happen, what sounds are happening, etc. Okay, so a storyboard doesn't necessarily have to be a full proper production storyboard. It's just an idea so that you know what the content of your film is going to be before you start, and it means you can think about how you shoot it. And if you've got 10 scenes and 2 of them are in the same place, well, film them at the same time and then edit them later. You don't rather than coming back later, if that makes sense. Just gives you an idea in terms of flow of production. Again, thinking about your setting and your background. Think about whether, as I was saying, is what's behind you telling the story you want to talk about. And if it doesn't, what can you do to make it engaging? So if you think about that Screwfix video with the guy, he's called Jerry. I know him actually, but with the fight with their alarm system, he is in front of a back of racks and tools and loads of kind of things. And it just means as soon as somebody gets onto that video, they know it's about tools. It doesn't matter that they're listening to the thing in front. They straight away they know that company does tools and equipment and those kind of things. So just think about your background and think about the kind of setting you're in for doing that. In terms of tone, be yourself. Okay, the reason someone is watching that video is because they want to find out about you and they want to listen to your story. So be yourself through it. You are the expert in whatever you do, and that's why people are looking at your video. So be confident in that. it also it creates trust as well. So it means that if someone has looked at a video and ultimately when what you're trying to do is drive traffic to your company, you're trying to get people to come and buy from you. Well, actually, you want to be the same person they meet face to face at some point as they've seen on the video. If you've got some kind of weird persona and then they meet you and you're someone completely different, that will completely break that trust down. And when people watch things, if they're watching it on telly or they're watching it on the screen, they generally believe it, which is why you get so much fake news and stuff like that. They go, "Oh, did you see that on TV the other night?" It's the same with a video clip. If someone has seen something and you've said something, they will believe it more so than face to face, which is a bit weird. But anyway, just something to think about. You could make a series. So if you found when you've made your storyboard, it's actually going to be a 10, 20-minute program. Well, how about breaking it up into a series of little bits? And you can make 10 2-minute programs rather than 120. And what that means is it means you've got content to go out on different days, so do it a series, repeat it one day after the other. And it also means that it's in bite-sized chunks and people are more likely to watch it when they're scrolling through their social media stuff. You need to grab their attention quickly though. If it's the same intro on every piece and each piece is 10 minutes, is 30 seconds long, but the first 10 seconds are the same, someone will go, "I've seen that." You want something that will quickly get their attention as they're scrolling through on the Facebook. They want something that pops up and you go, "Oh, I want to watch more of that," and click on it. So think about what happens in the first 10 seconds. Is it a quick montage of stuff? Is it some graphics? Is it a question? Is this you? Come and speak to us now. So think about what you want to do in the first 10 seconds. And consider your brand guidelines. I know that sounds strange, but every company, whether they're a small one-man band all the way up to Coca-Cola, have really strong brand guidelines. If you are working for a company and it's not yours, I don't mean that. If you don't own it, but you're working for a company or organization that has brand guidelines, make sure the content you are producing is in line with the company's brand guidelines. Because if you're going to put that company's logo at the end and say it's theirs, if it doesn't look how they want it to look in terms of graphics, in terms of imagery, in terms of tone, quite a lot of companies will have within their brand guidelines a tone of voice. And that's around whether they are personable, whether they are business-like, whether they are, whatever that is. But consider your brand guidelines before you start creating anything, or talk to your marketing manager or organization, because actually it's really important that you get that right, because it needs to fit in with everything else you produce. If you go onto like a university website, there will be endless clips from lecturers that have put stuff out, and it just looks terrible compared to the corporate stuff, which sits on the same YouTube page. And there's a complete mismatch between the two of them. So really think about that. So what if you don't like your face or your voice? Okay, we get this a lot. So you could consider kind of a graphic and music video. I'll just play this. So in that there's no voice. You haven't seen the customer. You could create something like that by filming some stuff around your organization or your customers or a product, and intersplicing it with maybe slides you've created in PowerPoint or Paint or anything. It doesn't really matter what it is. It's very easy to make a 30-second, 60-second video that is made up of a couple of slides. It could be an animated PowerPoint presentation. There are some online websites where you can put the stuff in and it will create you a little animation, those kind of things. It doesn't necessarily have to see you, or it doesn't have to hear you. So you can do loads of stuff like that. We do loads of videos where it's just content, animation, and music. So yeah, shots of facilities and of work and things that are happening. But bear in mind, everyone sees you and hears you all the time. So just get over it. You know, get yourself on there, get yourself in front of the camera. They're going to meet you face to face. Someone's going to talk to you face to face. Man, I hate my face. I hate my voice, but it doesn't matter. I'm still here wanging on at you guys. So you kind of got to just take that leap and just do it. You know, what's the worst that's going to happen? They're not going to buy from you. Well, maybe you don't want to buy from them. You don't want them as your customer anyway. So just get over it. Just get on with it. Get something out there. Because if you're not producing stuff, no one's listening to you. So there we go. I think it's always good to try and give something away. And I don't mean click here now and we'll give you a free car. I don't mean that. What I mean is give away some advice, give some opinion, maybe give some time. Obviously, I'm giving time doing this, and people value that, and people can see that if you're prepared to give your advice, you know, I've got this tool, this works like this. If you do that, like the guy doing the drill, actually it's a little tip on how to drill a hole in a bit of wood without it breaking. Well, it didn't cost him anything to do that. And it might mean that someone goes, oh, well, he's the expert in how to drill bits of wood. When I need a bit of wood drilling, I'm going to give him a call. And hopefully, just like this, if you guys decide that, you know, once you've done your series of social media clips yourself, and actually you want to move your business video to a next stage, maybe you'll come and call me. You know, so it's that if you give something away for free, people will value that and will come back. But always include a call to action at the end. So always say, what do you want them to do? You know, do you want them to call this line, go on this website, you know, watch the next film, whatever it is, make sure you've got a call to action, because otherwise it's a wasted clip. You've got their attention, they've watched it for 30 seconds, and then at the end, if you don't ask them to do anything, then they'll scroll on to something else. So always have a call to action. Right, okay, so what to use? So let me just switch over to my other camera. Marvelous. Okay, so I've got a selection of bits of equipment here. So for if you're going to do those things, so infomercial, explain a video, sales coaching, that kind of thing, I'd be using the phone probably. You know, you can wander around. I wouldn't use that for a coaching thing, because I just don't think it's a bit wobbly. People aren't engaging with it. It's a bit more kind of a vlog, those kind of things. But using a phone, the quality of phones these days is really quite good. So I'd consider doing that. If you were using your laptop, as we've spoken today about using a webcam and those kind of things, you can get a reasonable quality webcam, and that will be quite good for doing you know, a live session like today, or doing an explainer video on this is how this works. You could do a sales piece. You could do coaching one-to-one down a webcam. That would be okay. Or a blog. That would be cool. People are quite used to seeing blogs down laptops. You could use a camcorder, like we've got wide in here that you're looking at. So, sorry, I'm not on camcorder. I'm on webcam. So yeah, webcams similar to laptops, because obviously the cameras are in the same place. You could use a camcorder, which is obviously quite a lot of people have got them for home videos and stuff like that. The quality tends to be better than this kind of thing, and it is more portable, and you can take it out and about more than you can a webcam. So you could use a camcorder. You could use what's called an Osmo or a stabilization device. So this is whether you can see that. It's a little piece of equipment, and if I turn it on, I'm not sure whether it'll come awake or not. Let's give it a second. Oh, hang on, it's locked. That's why. Oh, it's still locked. There we go. So it's a stabilization device, and basically you plug your phone into the side of it, and that becomes the screen, and then you can then, oh, there we go, it's woken up. And then basically it's a stabilizer. So I don't know whether you can see that, but as I move the arm, the camera actually stays in place. So it means that you can kind of walk around, you can do your vlogs, you can, you know, have a chat to the camera, and actually the quality is really quite good because it's stable. And no matter where you move, the camera stays pointing in the same direction. They are very, very clever. And you know, they're a couple of £100, and if you're doing it properly, then you know, there are various versions or, you know, equivalent things to that which would work quite well. So you could use they're called Osmos or stabilization cameras, or it might be that you've got an SLR. So you've got a SLR camera. Quite a lot of them these days will shoot video as well. You just need to be conscious of things like battery. They tend to burn cards really quickly, and also sound, which I'll come on to in a minute. So you might want to think about doing that, but that's going to require somebody else to follow you around and do your filming, or to film the office or the equipment or the space, because they're not really designed for doing kind of selfie type things, because you look a bit ridiculous. So it's probably worth, but the quality of that will be better than an Osmo, or maybe like a GoPro or something like that, just because the equipment inside is better. So let me just, oh no, I'm going to keep on that. So you might want to think about sound. Now, interestingly, sound is possibly a lot more important than you probably think it is. People these days will accept the fact that the video is broken up a little bit, or it's a bit, you know, it's a bit wonky, or the quality is not great. But actually, if the sound's terrible, people won't watch it. So getting your sound right is absolutely essential. So things you might want to use. So you could use a lapel microphone, either wired or wireless. So you get a little pack like that with a wire, and you'd wear that on your shirt lapel. And then the receiver would then go to whichever of your bits of camera equipment, and that means you can get some really nice quality audio. If you're using your phone, you could potentially use your pair of Apple headphones.
Some
Hey,
useful hacks would be good.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, Tony, we were just sort of compiling sort of questions. There was a couple of questions. One was about getting you to sort of do it effectively, and then I think I've forgotten who was just speaking. Was that Lottie?
That was me, yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're asking about iPads. Should we just cover those questions quickly now, or do you want to hang on for a second?
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay, Laura first.
So it's all very impressive, and you clearly know your stuff. I think if I tried to set up that whole scenario and everything that you can do, it'd probably take me a million years to get to one, doing it and having it look brilliant, and through, you know, secondly, actually creating the video. So I wondered if you have a model whereby you do everything for people. In terms of setting up a studio space, you mean? Is that what you're talking about? Are you talking about producing video production stuff? I mean, instead of, for example, myself trying to get the green screen right, get the lighting right, get the audio right, and all of that, do you have the capability to provide that? Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We, you know, if you wanted to buy a small kit from us, you know, we would buy it. We'd buy the gear. We'd come and set it up in your space and do that for you. Absolutely no problem at all. Yeah, I mean, it's not our core business. Our core business is producing videos for people. But as you say, we have the knowledge and the expertise of what to get and how to do it. So yeah, we would happily entertain that. Okay. Okay, thank you. Lottie, you've got a question, I think.
Yeah, I was just asking about, do you recommend any apps or software that are good for editing video, just sort of smaller social media style things?
Yes, I do. I'm hoping to be able to click through. I've got some slides about that later on.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to you then, Tony.
Right. Cool. Okay. Can you switch? Can you give me host control back again?
Yeah, and that wants to be to the presentation machine or to you directly?
To me, please. So I don't really know where I got to. Did you hear the bit about using your headphones?
That was.
I think that's where it cut off.
Right. Okay. So you've got headphones with little microphones on the end halfway down them. So if you were using your phone to film yourself or an iPad or whatever, if you plug that in, it gives you a little microphone which is effectively near your face rather than at the end of your arm, which will massively improve the quality of the sound on that. Yeah, if you're using an SLR, you can buy a little camera top microphone which just plugs into it, and again, that will be better than the tiny microphone that's inside the camera. Finally, yeah, as I mentioned before, you can have a desktop microphone. So if you're doing voiceovers or if you want to record something on your computer, this will give you a much better result than the tiny little microphone inside your computer. So let me just click through some of these. We did speak about lighting before, and you can buy little pop-up reflector things, again, for about £20, which if you went out with somebody, they can just kind of shine the light in at your face so it lights your face up, or it could reflect off other ambient lighting, and it just raises that kind of level of light. You could get yourself a little battery powered light thing, and again, you can kind of, if you're in a darker environment, it just gives you a little bit more additional ambient light. And as discussed before, you could then have professional level LED lights. Again, each of those costs more and more and more as you go along. So you just kind of have to be careful you don't get too carried away with buying stuff, because before you know it, you've got a video production company. Yeah, I wonder how that happened. Anyway, so if we just move on. So filming tips. These are the things that I would definitely recommend. Let me just move that. So this is going to be filming tips for filming on a mobile phone, but it will be the same with an iPad or whatever. So if I'm just going to switch over to here now, with a bit of luck, you should be able to see my phone screen. So if I unlock my phone and go to my camera, hopefully you should be able to see that. Oh, goodness. Right. So the first thing you're going to do before you start is, if you have a look, you see how kind of misty and murky that camera is. The first thing to do is just to clean your lens. Yeah. Okay. And it's just a matter of just, I know, rubbing a bit of a t-shirt or a soft cloth or something like that. And before you know it, the picture quality is instantly better. Okay. You haven't got that kind of mucky fogginess. So always clean your lens. Okay. So, and that's for webcams, that's for phones, whatever it is you're going to use. Okay. Let me just click that. Which way up? Well, there's a few ways you can do it. Obviously, you've got your kind of standard upright video. You could do it landscape, although I thought that was going to rotate and it didn't rotate. You do it landscape. Or if you're producing it for social media, quite often you'd want to do it in a square format. For me, I would always shoot it landscape, and then crop the sides if you're going to put it on social media. There are, again, I can give more advice on that, but there are lots of different formats for doing stuff. But the reason I wouldn't do it vertically like that is if you ever wanted to put it on anything but a mobile phone, it's in the wrong size and shape. So get into the action. Okay, so I've gone too far. Get into the action, and what I mean by that is, what you don't want to do is zoom in with your fingers or by pinching, because what happens is that, oh, I'm in a funny mode. What happens is, all it does is it stretches the pixels and lowers the quality. Okay. What you want to do is you want to get in on the action. Zoom with your feet is what is something I've said before. So kind of get in there properly, move forwards rather than relying on the zoom on your phone, because all that does is reduces the quality of your production. Rule of thirds. Now this is something you can probably use for absolutely any video or photo you ever take. Okay. If you split a picture up, so here's a picture of one of our camera operators at Windsor. If you look at any good quality picture, it uses what's called rule of thirds. And if you divide your picture up into a series of boxes, okay, the action should be falling on what's called a thirds line or even better there, 2 thirds line, one on the left and one at the top. Okay, so try and balance your picture so that the action is falling on the thirds line. Equally, if I was doing an interview and they were looking across the shot, you would find that the action, i.e. the face, is falling on the thirds line. And again, car, nice squealy wheel, the action is falling on a thirds line. Okay. Now, if you have a look back at my phone, if you can see that, okay. If you go into your video settings, and I know this happens in Android as well as iPhones, and you go into your camera setting and you put grid on, which is there. I don't know whether you can see that or not. If you then go back to your camera, you'll see that actually now it's now got those third lines on for you. Okay, which means that when you come to take a picture of something, okay, you can make sure that all the action is falling on a thirds line. And what that will do is that will massively improve your quality of your pictures if you make the action fall on one of those lines. Okay, and if you take nothing else away today, that is what I want you to take away: thirds lines. Is that clear?
Sorry to interrupt, Tony. Can you just explain a little bit more about what you mean when you say falling on a thirds line?
Right. So if you look back at the presentation, okay, and look at this lad, okay. So if you split your screen into 3 columns and three rows, okay, where they intersect is where the action needs to be taking place. So this lad's face, his interview, his face is on the right-hand third line and the top thirds line. Does that make sense? You can see where they cross.
Yeah, I understand now. Yeah.
So if you were following somebody walking from left to right, for instance, right to left, you'd make sure that that their body was falling on that third line, and equally if they were walking right to left to right, you'd have it falling on the opposite third line. So it's about composition of your shots. Okay, so this is a rule that's used throughout all photographs, all video. If you start looking at stuff, so like this car wheel here, the action, the bit you want people to look at, falls on that left-hand third line. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So equally, so if you go back to looking at the phone, I'm not sure whether you can see the phone or not. It's now created those little wires horizontally and vertically. And if, for instance, my little man was walking across here, okay, I would make sure that he was on that third line. And equally, if he was going the other way, then I'd make sure he was on that third line as he's walking. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Because if you put him on the wrong third line, it looks like he's walking out shot, and it looks a bit weird. So you try and frame that so that the action's happening on that third line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So be steady. So if you're going to do something, try and find a tripod, rest it on a table so that it's not wobbly like this. You know, you can rest it and put in there. You can rest it on the table. You make sure that your shot is steady. Or as I mentioned before, you could use your body to kind of, you can use an Osmo, or you can use your body to kind of frame, to kind of hold it and shore that camera up. So always try and be stable. This next little video, okay, the left-hand side is what it's done by a photographer, not by us. I will just say it was done by a photographer on his SLR, and then afterwards is what we've managed to do to process it, which is quite remarkable, really. The software these days is absolutely fantastic. So that is his handheld wobbly footage, and on the right is what we managed to stabilize in software, which they genuinely are the same shot. So even if you do mess it up, you can always recover it. If it's you may not always be able to recover it. You can often recover it. So yeah, but try and be steady and stable with it. Lighting and exposure. Actually, we spoke about lighting earlier. 3-point lighting, always lighting from the front, not from the back. is really important. And it's the same when you're using your videos or your phone. Don't shoot into the sun. Spin it around so that the sun is falling on a person's face if you're filming them. What you can also do, and I'm going to take that one and the focus in, light and exposure, and focus on your phone. Okay, if you tap, and you probably all know this because you've used phones and stuff before, but if you tap on the screen, okay, it will focus and set the light for whichever I'm doing it the wrong way. Sorry. If you tap on, I'm going to zoom in, be easier. If you tap on the thing you want to be in focus, it will focus on it. So if you look, the little guy at the front is in focus. I'm going to tap on the back guy, and he's now in focus. And what it does is it sets the lighting, the exposure, and the focus wherever you where you want it. Okay, so tapping the screen is really important before you start filming whatever you're going to film. Make sure that the person is in focus and it's not the background, if that makes sense. So just tap your screen where you want it to focus and it will do the work for you. Always try and get a wide, medium and close shot of anything. So when you edit a program together, it gives you an establishing shot of where you are and then some close footage of whatever action you're trying to portray. And be objective. Does the footage that you're showing actually say what you wanted to say? And it's not just something you like. You need to make sure that you are actually telling that story properly. So they are the filming tips. Extra tips just to go with that. I'd always recommend flicking onto do not disturb mode or airplane mode or whatever, because you're bound to get a phone call halfway through recording. And then that'll mess your shot up. It'll be a perfect shot and you'll miss it. As I say, use a microphone or get close to the person who's talking or whatever the sound is. Record at least 10 seconds of every shot. A couple of seconds before the thing you want to do, and a couple of seconds afterwards, because it just gives you options to fade or whatever you want to do in your edit. Tap, refocus and expose for every single scene. Don't assume that it's right from the scene before. Make sure your batteries are charged because you're bound to go flat when you need it. Make sure you've got plenty of storage space. Certainly if you're using your phone, it'll be full of photographs and full of other stuff. And when you hit record on video, it eats storage. So if you haven't got enough space on there, it won't you won't be able to record it. So I'm just going to show this. I'm going to show this little video. I'm going to show this video because it makes me amused. This is all about using your video, the camera the right way up.
Meh.
This video didn't have to look this way. It could have been prevented. Say no to vertical videos.
Vertical videos happen when you hold your camera the wrong way. Your video will end up looking like crap. Meh.
There are more and more people addicted to making vertical videos every day. It's not crack or nothing, but it's still really bad. There are two different kinds of people who are afflicted with VVS. The first group treats the videos they shoot like pictures. They don't mean any harm. They just don't understand that while you can turn a picture, you can't really turn a video.
The other group is people who don't give a
Vertical video syndrome is dangerous. Motion pictures have always been horizontal. Televisions are horizontal. Computer screens are horizontal. People's eyes are horizontal. We aren't built to watch vertical videos.
I love vertical videos! Nobody cares about you!
If this problem's left unchecked, YouTube will begin showing 4 videos at once, just to save bandwidth.
Letterboxd vertical videos would be the size of a postage stamp.
And it will spread everywhere. Movie screens have always been horizontal. If vertical videos become accepted, movie theaters will have to be tall and skinny.
And all the movie theaters would have to get torn down and rebuilt. And by the time they were rebuilt, Mina Coolidge would be old and ugly.
And birds will crash into them and die.
And we will all get stiff necks from looking up.
And no one will sit in the front row ever again.
And George Lucas will re-release Star Wars again! The skinny edition!
I was never really able to tell the story that I wanted to tell. This is a great chance for me to experiment with a new technology.
You're a jerk.
Every time a mobile device is used to record video, the temptation is there. Just say no. Say no to George Lucas. Say no to old Mila Kunis. Say no to vertical videos.
And if you see someone doing it, say, "You're not shooting that right, dummy!"
Anyway, that's what I think of shooting videos in vertical. So I realize we're now running over. I'm just going to, I know some people are asking about software and stuff. This was all about, I was going to talk about the editing, and I'll happily have a session with people if they want to do it more independent, separately afterwards. So let me just click through some of these because people were asking about software. So computer software, if you're editing on a desktop, something like Adobe Premiere is the kind of the ultimate one you want to be using, but that tends to be quite expensive. If you're on a Mac, Final Cut Pro, again, you can buy it. It's really good. But if you want a free one, then iMovie is good. DaVinci Resolve or on PCs as Movie Maker. That, to be honest, there are hundreds and hundreds of video editing software bits and bobs out there. If you're on an iOS phone, iMovie is a good one, and actually you can do an awful lot in terms of pulling files out and photos and stills. A remarkable amount for a phone, really. Again, you can get Resolve. Adobe Rush is a free one, and that's really good. And Lightworks, so they're all really good on iPhone. If you're Android, you've got Adobe Android Clip, which you can use. And then you've got Filmora Go, KineMaster, and again, Movie Maker. But again, there are absolutely shed loads of bits of software out there for doing video, and most of them are free. Well, at least there is a free version, and then they'll upsell you on various features when you realize you can't do what you want to do. And was there anything else? That's probably as much I was going to cover in the hour and 10 minutes as it's been now. So hopefully that was of some use to some people. Obviously, if you decide you want to, I was going to talk through production music and all sorts of stuff. If you decide video is for you, and you find that actually once you've done some of your videos and you want to make them a bit fancier and a bit more shiny, obviously we will always happily talk to you around doing it professionally. Or supporting you in doing the stuff yourself, as in, we can help set your studios up. We can help shoot content which you can then use with your vlogs. So that kind of cutaway material could be stuff that we've shot over the top of your kind of thing. So give us a call if you need anything. Animated plates, and editing content you've shot that maybe you can't edit. Training staff, so we can do a course like this with your people in-house, install studios, or full service video production. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it. Any questions? Any more questions?
No, that was quite comprehensive. Not from me. Thank you.
Cool. Was it any use?
It's very interesting. The thought of doing a video myself, I have to say, is my worst nightmare. But in terms of plenty of information to possibly bring you some people to network, yeah, I think I've got some connections that might prove useful for you.
Thank you, Laura. I appreciate that.
Tony, I think I've obviously sat through a couple of your presentations before, be it through the networking group that we've been in, and also through Digital Cafe. And again, I think it's something I always take something new away from it. Cool. So I think that's been really helpful. Has anyone else got any questions, Lottie or whoever?
No questions, no. Just to say that I found it really, really useful, and I would actually like to hear the rest of it at some point, if possible, Tony.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Would people be interested in having Tony come back and do like part 2?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll look at we might do one on video editing and piecing together a program once you've filmed it.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, but seriously, Laura, shoot some stuff. Try it. It doesn't have to be you. It could be customer testimonials. It could be absolutely how your process works. Take a PowerPoint that you've already got for a sales team and just turn it into a little social media thing that just pulls out the key points stitched together with a bit of music.
If it's not me on camera, then it might be doable.
The worst that can happen is no one's going to watch it, and if you haven't made it, and if you've not made it, no one's going to watch it anyway. So
yeah, I get it. Very, very helpful. Yeah, I think that might work. Not doing the video of me, if you like, but having something separate. Yeah. So yes, that's helpful. Thank you.
Cool. No worries.
Excellent. Okay. So I'm switch back to my screen thing. Is that working? No. Looking around the wrong ones here. So realistically, I'm starting to wrap up Digital Cafe a little bit. I think we've still got your screen on, Tony, is it?
Yeah. I've got
too many things on here. I'll just share my screen off. I know what I've done. I moved that onto the wrong side. If I share that.
Right. Oh.
Okay. So hopefully you can see a thank you from me anyway. So I suppose what I really want to move that on is really to sort of say thank you for Tony for doing that. Also to highlight the fact that we've actually got on the 19th of November is our next one. I've got some timing on my slides, so they just keep jumping about. 19th of November on sort of working from home and all the issues that are coming in from that side of things. One of the things that I obviously want to draw people's attention to is the fact that we're going to take this, going to put it onto YouTube. So those people who want to recap, hopefully if everything goes to plan, you can scroll through that a little bit on there. And again, thank you very much, Tony. I think we'll bring you back again for a sort of a post recording. Is that the best way to describe it?
Post production. Yeah, no worries.
Excellent. Cool. Right. Has anybody else got anything they want to add before we sort of part our ways?
No, thank you very much, and nice to meet you all.
And you.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Cheers, Laura.
And and I think that's been success from my point of view. So and hopefully from Tony's as well.
Excellent.
So, thank you very much. And
cool. See you in a bit.
All right. Thank
you.
Cheers,
guys.
Bye. Take care then. Thank you. Bye.